Welcome back to another episode of our Curry Business TV. And today we speak about the great Marcus Garvey. And I think that this man needs to be spoken about more. The fact that over 100 years ago, he had not 1 million followers, not 2 billion followers, but over 10 million followers without the internet, without any kind of social media. You can hardly get 100 followers now, huh? But who exactly is Marcus Garvey? Marcus Garvey was born in St. Anne and he learned something important at the age of 14. He was an apprentice to his uncle in a printing shop, and there he learned the art of printing. Now, Marcus Garvey traveled extensively, but when he made his mark, the biggest was in the United States between 1916 and 1927 when he was deported. Now, between that period, Garvey garnered a large following all over the diaspora. Now, if you notice, even in this flag here, the Ghanaian flag, the black star line, the black star on that flag is influenced by Garvey. The first prime minister, the first president in independent Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, is also a Garveyite follower. He was influenced by Garvey. Now, the Nation of Islam, with Farrakhan and all those guys, that organization was influenced by Garvey's movement as well. Garvey's movement brought a sense of pride, a sense of Africanness, a sense of blackness to the black community in the diaspora, in the Caribbean and in Africa. Now, one of the most important things that Garvey recognized early is that we must tell our own story. And because of that, Garvey was vested in printing. And because of that, Garvey was able to connect with over 10 million people through his newspaper. One of his most notable newspaper is The Black Man and also The Negro World. Now, Garvey's paper, The Black Man, was banned in all French and Caribbean territory. Imagine a man writing newspaper in many different languages to reach the black populace, right? And so his newspaper was banned in all territories. Not even in your possession, you couldn't find a Black Man newspaper. Now, the Black Man newspaper caused the independence of the Caribbean and for a lot of things to happen. Now, when the people of Trinidad started to read the Black Man, it caused a riot at the wharf in Trinidad and also over in a place in Trinidad called Fizzabad. And that's where the first demonstration started that led to Caribbean independence because of Garvey's paper that they read. No, it started in Fizzabad, Trinidad, and the people in Frome, Westmoreland here and started out. Frome, Westmoreland in Jamaica heard and started to protest after, and it caused a labor riot. Because of that labor riot, it led to the Moyne Commission. And the Moyne Commission was called the West Indies Royal Commission that investigated the inhumane treatment of the workers in the West Indies. And because of that, it led to the adult suffrage of 1944, where you and I could start voting in 1944. Yes, so if you go in your electoral office and you see that plaque on the wall saying universal, it says, I just called the name, Universal Adult Suffrage 1944. We should give credit to Marcus Garvey for that. Yes, we should give credit to Marcus Garvey for the formation of the Nation of Islam. Yes, we should give credit to Marcus Garvey for black independence, black power, black movement. Now, how influential was Garvey and his movement? Well, Garvey was well spoken, but the secret behind Garvey's weapon was a woman called Amy, which was his wife. Amy Garvey was his second wife. His first wife was also Amy as well. They were married for 3 years. But this Amy Garvey that he was married to, they're married from in the 1920s, very late until the 1940s. Now, Mrs. Garvey in Jamaica, she was working at a lawyer's office. And so she knew the intricacies of law, and she would be the secretary of Garvey. She would also edit the woman's page. She's also a feminist. So see, we had feminism in Garveyism as well. And she was also a feminist, and she was the editor for the woman's page of the Negro World. Now, when Garvey was in prison, she was the one who was the backbone of the UNIA. She still carried out the functions. She did everything, and until when even after Garvey was deported, even after Garvey died, she still carried on the mantle. And so she's a very important figure in Garvey's movement overall. Now, next topic to touch on other influence that people that Garvey influenced. You might know the great Malcolm X. Yes. So Malcolm X, his parents, Mr. Earl Little and his wife, Mrs. Little, those are Malcolm X's parents, and they were Garveyites. Yes, they were Garveyites. Now, imagine over 100 years ago, a man can actually garner 10 million people. Garvey was so influential and so powerful and intellectually inclined, so much so that he sells shares for a sum of $5 per share in the Black Star Line. That money would go towards his spending. However, it could be argued that Garvey's poor financial management caused him a lot of trouble, and maybe that is even why he ended up in jail, as he was sent to prison for fraud for selling shares of the Black Star Line, even though the Black Star Line did not exist according to the report, did not exist anymore. So Garvey had challenges in the United States, and one of the challenges that he had was a man called W.E.B. Du Bois, who he was a founder for the National Association of Advancement for Colored People, the NAACP. And he claimed that Garvey was the most dangerous NEGRO. And Garvey claimed that guy, W.E.B. Du Bois, was a traitor. The fact that when Garvey went to the United States in the early stages, Garvey went to Mr. W.E.B. Du Bois' office to meet up with him, but he was not there. But when Garvey looked around in the office, all Garvey saw was white pictures on the walls. He didn't see any black person, so he claimed that this man is not a black person. This man has a mixed race because some part of his family heritage is from Ireland. And so that caused a kind of rift between Garvey and W.E.B. Du Bois. And so 100 years later, Garvey's name is still etched in our memories. Garvey died in London at age 52 on June 10, 1940.